Hey, how's it going, everyone? This is the Link to the Past Randomizer League, Week 3. We're into the Randomizer Week, where the enemies are shuffled, the bosses are shuffled, and generally it's not a good time. But, maybe these runners will prove me wrong. We'll have a grand old time, and they'll be able to beat every enemy without dying, right? Sounds good, right? Well, we got ourselves two teams here. We got ourselves Team Hot Dish, who have yet to win a game this season, and I Like Big Boots, who are undefeated this season. Keginthecloset representing Team Hot Dish, and Zerorush representing I Like Big Boots. Now I know what you're thinking. Hey, isn't this guy also on I Like Big Boots? Yeah, that's true, but I mean, I'm not going to be biased, so you don't have to worry about that. So you may know Zerorush. He's a pretty dang good runner, wouldn't you say? He's gone pretty far in a lot of other tournaments that are randomizer caliber. So yeah, this is looking like we got ourselves a big dog versus an underdog. So it'll be interesting to see if there's any upset potential tonight. Because randomizer is a very volatile mode, and it could just throw a whole lot of weird stuff at you. Looks like we are getting started right now. There we go. Runners are started off in Link's house. And so Zerorush is in Link's house. Keginthecloset starts in the sanctuary. Didn't get really anything out of either of those chicks. Zerorush is going to head on to the castle, presumably to check the tier 1 tree pole, assuming he can kill an enemy successfully. And Keginthecloset probably going to head on over to Kakariko, check out the bush crab or at Lumberjack, or just head on straight to the Lost Woods. Looks like it is Lumberjack. Nicely getting a full magic right off the bat. That's very nice. We're going to get our look at what is on Lumberjack. We got nothing from Secret Patches today. Uncle or the chest, neither had anything. Let's see what's inside. I actually didn't catch what it was, so if someone could help me figure out what that was, that'd be nice. Yeah, on Lumberjack. Looks like Keg found a bush crab that's dropping 8 bombs. So if any bush crab you can attempt to find in this seed, you'll be dropping 8 bombs. You can find them. Okay, it looks like Zerorush got some bombs, if anything, out of the front, getting himself some usability in Kakariko. That way he doesn't have to worry about money or bombs. Lost Woods not really having anything useful for either runner today. Just a little bit of money, if anything. Big 20 is probably the more worth item to get out of here, if anything. Alright, Keg being our first runner to head into Kakariko. Getting into Blind's Hut right away. Zerorush very close behind. Alright, starting out, we got a bow, big 20, another big 20, and finally another big 20 in the front. So a bow start is interesting in Randomizer because you may not even need a bow unless you need to beat Pod, and that's about it. So Pod is the real reason you need a bow is Pod and any Randomizer seed. Eastern's actually pretty much fully beatable, you know, aside from the boss if you don't have the correct items to beat it. Got a map check on Keg's side. We got full crystals in the light world. They're all regular crystals. All the special pendants / crystals will be in the dark world today. Starting out with 100 rupees in the well. Just some arrows in the back. Heart piece. 50 rupees. And another 5 rupees. Zero Rush running a little low on bombs here. He'll probably be going to buy bombs as soon as he finishes up with Chicken Hut. I mean, I guess the bottle vendor could also give him bombs, like, thanks, you know, for knocking that one out of the park. Alright, so this room right here, this room can be bad. Thank goodness it's actually not really bad at all, because that mini Helmosaur dies to bombs in one hit, so... yeah, that's actually a pretty tame Chicken Hut if I had to. Getting a bottle out of Chicken Hut, so now we can check Sick Kid. Feels good. Sick Kid giving us a lamp. Early lamp and early bow. You'd think Eastern Palace, but really it's just a lamp that could point towards Eastern Palace. And a nice red boomerang in a tavern. So, dark rooms are now no longer an issue. And honestly, the lamp is probably the most helpful item you can get in an Enemizer, because now you can see what enemies are you finding in the dark rooms. It's so annoying trying to navigate through dark rooms with Enemizer. So both of these runners will be very glad to have that lamp for the entirety of this seed, basically. Nothing useful in the library. Keg is actually going to blind check the race game here to see if Zero Rush decides to just outright check it. Yes, he's going to outright check it. Will this pay out for Keg? Not necessarily. He could probably use the bomb refill since he's not quite at 10, so he may go and pick them up. But as it stands, they're just a nice little bomb increase. Little fish flopping around there. An interesting thing you could do with the fish in Enemizer, since they're pretty much out in the open, you can either take one to the bottle vendor, or you could throw one in the deep water anywhere, and he will give you a prize either from the bottle vendor or from the deep water. We get our second bottle here, and Keg is going to take advantage of throwing the fish into the water, and he gets a small magic first trouble, so not that worth. That bottle having green goo inside of it, green potion. We don't have really any major items that require magic at the moment, but that green potion I'm sure will come in handy at some point, considering this is a boss shuffle Enemizer, and we might run into a boss where we're not expecting to have full magic for, and that green potion will probably save us. So in this Enemizer mode, we have normal damage shuffle, so that means every enemy that you encounter will do its normal damage. And then some enemies have some exceptions, like Light World versus Dark World rats. If you find rats in a Dark World dungeon of some sort, or just down the overworld, they will do 2 hearts, as they do in like Thieves Town. But other than that, pretty much every enemy does its normal damage, and you also. They also have the same amount of health that they usually do in a normal game, so that is not randomized either. Coming out of Mini Boulder Cave, we got Boots and a Sword. Boots and a Sword, combined together, make movement a lot in the overworld a lot easier, because you have a weapon in front of you that, he thrust out the sword while he's dashing, so now you have a less chance of being hit. You can just dash through things. Except when you got a landmo, not a landmo. Except when you got a, what are they called? Lionel. That hurts. Zerorush dashing straight into that Lionel, taking it down. Let's see if Keg does not make the same mistake. It seems like they both made the exact same mistake, so they're going to try their hand at going in the front of the castle. Keg actually hasn't been in front of the castle yet, so he'll get the mostly useless items off Uncle and the chest right next to him. Thus far in the front of escape, we don't have anything worth mentioning. Just more bombs. Ooh, we got ourselves a second sword out of Zelda's cell. Second sword and a lamp really points towards Aghanim, possibly. We don't have a Moon Pearl yet, so we can't do anything in the Dark World except check the pyramid. I have a feeling, though, that Zerorush might be thinking about doing Aghanim directly after doing Dark Cross. Okay, someone in chat telling me that the Moon Pearl was in fact on Lumberjack. I actually didn't see that, so thank you for pointing that out to me. So it is an Agaseed after all, and so yeah, that will prompt Zerorush to go ahead and do Aghanim directly after doing the back of these back of the escape / Dark Cross. So he'll take a Death Warp soon after checking these chests. Or not. I'm not sure what Zerorush is thinking here. Oh, you know what? He didn't check it. He has not checked Lumberjack, so he will be doing that in just a second. Well, we already have silver arrows, so that's a nice little strength upgrade, pretty much right off the bat in this early parts of the seed. Now, a bunch of enemies and bosses will go down super quickly with silver arrows. Quite the nice upgrade from our current equipment. Zerorush getting the information that yes, in fact, Aghanim is required, and you will need to go ahead and kill that wizard. It looks to me like both runners are not quite ready to take on Aghanim just yet. I can understand because one, it's Enemizer, and two, you don't have a lot of things to do outside of going to Pod and checking the pyramid. With this current layout, we don't have a lot we can do. So I do not blame either of them for wanting to go ahead and beat out Eastern if they can and figure out what's available to them. Because otherwise, you don't have a lot to do, and you may just be wasting a little bit of time, you know, pulling the trigger on Aga so quickly. So Ashla telling us that Thieves Town is the green pendant today. Typically, you don't see runners check that in non-key sanity modes because you'll get the information sooner rather than later. because you do not need the maps or anything like that to know what potential dungeon, what dungeon is what dungeon will give you what. Got the big key in the first chest, means we'll be able to check the big chest before heading to the back or to the vanilla big key chest. Kennick's showing us a little bit of knowledge there, that there are some pots underneath that chest there that give you some heart. And, full disclosure, I actually didn't know that myself. So, Keg, thank you for showing me. Alright, so that glove right there, it opens up the back of Escape, Zora, and once we kill Aghanim, we can go to Catfish. Other than that, that glove doesn't open up way too much. Getting the hammer, however, would open up quite a bit more, knowing what we know. Making their way in the dark here, these rooms can be very scary. Ooh, especially since there's a wall master. Better watch out. Symbols that runners will make in Eastern Palace, non-key sending modes, is to skip this chest. And well, today it would have worked out in their favor. However, both of them chose to go after it, so neither of them really gained any time on the other, so it doesn't really matter too much. This room can get real bad, and it's a dark room, a bunch of enemies grouped all together. Thankfully that one wasn't too bad, but it can get a lot worse sometimes, let me tell you. Alright, coming up after this room is probably the worst room in this dungeon. So let's see what we got here. You know what? A bunch of shadow enemies is actually kind of nice for a change. Oh, we got a vanilla Armos Knights fight. Well, that's a bit of a relief, I guess. So it looks like to me that Zerorush is probably going to head straight on to kill Aghanim. Or not. Is he going up the mountain? No, he's checking back of Escape. Okay, checking back of Escape. And then either... He's probably going to go kill Aghanim after this. So I'd imagine he'd head to the castle after this. Ooh, that's a nasty room right there. He actually almost died because of it. The mini Helma almost trolling him. Got ourselves some flippers back there. It's kind of nice. Those flippers opening a few checks in the light world currently. Other than that, though, I feel like Aghanim is still the play. As in, not killing Aghanim just to get the Moon Pearl, but killing Aghanim and then going towards like Pod or something like that. Looks like Zerorush is still gonna do some flipper checks while he has the time. Keg makes his way through to the 3 chest over here. Nothing but some arrows off the hobo. Looks like Keg is going to make their way up the mountain here. And Animizer, saving the old man can actually be a bit scary because trying to save him, if you already have grabbed him, can be a bit scary considering that whenever you die, you respawn where you started with him, which is right here. So doing this early is a bit scary. You kind of want to wait till you have more health, possibly. Although this loadout doesn't look too bad. Yeah, those enemies were not harmful. Ooh, and he gets the hook shot out of that. That's actually really interesting, because with what we know now, we can actually do stuff in the Dark World once we kill Aghanim and get the Moon Pearl. We can hook ourselves across the river going west to the other side of the Dark World and do some stuff if we so choose. Looks like Zerorush didn't get anything out of those flipper checks. Looks like he's going to go ahead and do Aga Tower, and I can understand why, since he pretty much got nothing out of the flipper checks, and he's only got a few checks left, namely the mountain and Agina Cave. He's probably just going to hedge his bet and say that, killing Aga is probably the next thing I need to do here. Realistically, he could, after he gets his Moon Pearl, he could go up the mountain, since he's right by the entry point to the mountain. It would get him his hook shot, but from my standpoint, I feel like I probably wouldn't do that just because I'm so anxious to get into the Dark World. And at the same time, though, no hook shot means you can't do much in the Dark World once you kill Aghanim. Got ourselves a nice little half magic there in Paradox Cave. That's a very, very nice thing to see, especially something like Animizer. Also, 600 rupees. Holy crap. Yeah, this room in Dark Maze could be one of the worst rooms for Animizer. It is pretty tame today. That any fairy getting stuck in that little pocket there. I did not catch what was on Floating Island, if it was anything important. That's a very poorly placed spike trap and a spark to boot. Oh man, this room is nothing. Sorry, this room is something, and it's kind of wrecking Zerorush right now. He's gonna have to go a long way. Looks like Keg got himself a cape there in that spiral cave check. That could probably help him in his trek up towards to killing Aghanim. In fact, honestly, that cape not only opens up, that cape not only protects him pretty well in the climb, it also will open up a check, assuming he hooks around and tries to go check Bumper Ledge. So if Zero Rush does not continue to East F Mountain when he gets a hook shot, he probably won't have that cape. This is assuming he goes up the mountain. Looks like Keg is going to use the cape to get past that line, though I can completely understand that. Wow! Another poorly placed Wall Master. Man, this game is out for blood. Keg, you're in the wrong Ice Rod Cave. I mean, if you wanted fairies, that's sure. I guess that's fine, but... Alright. We've gotten through all the bad stuff in the Aghanim's tower. Now we just have to fight Aghanim himself. The blue balls are seeded so that each runner will get the same amount of blue balls when they fight the Aghanim variant. To answer your question in the chat, I do not believe you can use the cape when you're swimming. It's kind of rough when you're trying to swim when it's Enemizer. Alright, so Zero Rush killing Aghanim 1. We got our red crystals at Mire and Pod, green pendant at Thieves Town. We already knew that. Skullwoods and Swamp are the other two pendants. Alright, so Zero Rush about to get his Moon Pearl here and see whether he decides to go up the mountain after this or not. Considering he doesn't have much to do outside of Pod and Catfish, well, he's proved me wrong though, so he's gonna head over to Pod and Catfish, it looks like. So Keg is about to check King Zora here, which Zero Rush did not have enough money for his first time through. It's just a bug net. If this were swordless, that would matter, but it does not in this. As expected, Zero Rush gonna make their way on over to Palace of Darkness here. This is kind of a scary path. Oh my goodness, what is up with that chain jump? This is kind of a scary path in Enemizer because you have no idea what's coming, and once you take a hit, you lose the monkey, and you'll have to spend 10 words. First chest in pod has a small key, so we can go through the middle door here in just a second. Keg is probably going to have a lot easier time here in the Agate Tower climb because of that cape. This room is randomized with the enemies and such, so no bow is necessary. And that's actually a pretty easy room with those little tentacly things. Pardon me, I do not know the official names of those enemies. It's funny, because the bow enemies are in the next a few rooms after this. That's kind of interesting. Ah, yes, Popos. I knew I remembered it. It's just I forgot in the moment. Alright, Keg almost all the way up the tower. Just have to get past this room with the Wallmaster. Man, that Wallmaster's so poorly played. It looks like Zerorush found the ice rod in the vanilla big key chest of pod just then. It is very ambiguous whether we need ice rod in Enemizer because we have no idea what bosses are coming until we happen upon them. So if a Trinex shows up in a crystal dungeon, yes, we do need it. If we don't, or in the climb of Ganon's Tower, sometimes at Ice Armor's spot, if the big key is behind that spot, when we do need the ice rod, but if not, then we don't need it. And it's kind of scary, you know, without the ice rod, and you might still need the ice rod, and you're just wondering where the heck you're, if you are in go mode, have you not seen a Trinex yet? Well, there's exists at least one Trinex in every seed for this league week. That bridge was terrifying, let me tell you. Dealing with any fairies on such a narrow platform is not fun. And Zerorush using the select buffer to get past them very, very efficiently. It's very smart of him. Zerorush going to go ahead and pick up a few rupees in this rupee room, considering he did spend a lot to go into pod. And is that another Wallmaster? My goodness. Just a piece of heart in the top of Dark Maze. Coming up on the bottom is the big key. Okay, I think we knew that had to be there. So, we only got the ice rod out of pod, so that most likely means that hooking across the river is the intended progression path today. Alright, Keg just now getting his Moon Pearl. He's probably going to check. So where is Keg going? Keg, you do not have the hammer. I'm fairly certain you do not have the hammer, so you cannot go this. Alright, Zero Rush getting his hook shot. Probably going to head on over to East F Mountain after this. Keg will be coming upon a sad realization in just a second here. I guess I didn't see that earlier, but there's the blue cane sitting atop Spectacle Rock. Alright, it'd be interesting to see which direction Keg heads here, because Zero Rush cleared all of Pod for only an Ice Rod, so he could potentially put that off until later. It looks like he will also choose to go to Palace of Darkness. Alright, Keg very wisely using that cape just to get Kiki all the way to the front. Zero Rush about to get his cape here, and will hook across the river most likely. May check Catfish on his way to crossing the river. But after that, we will be heading west above, around the north portion of our... Keg, interestingly, is actually starting by going both sides instead of going through the front door. Alright, we're most likely going to be getting a check of Bumper Cave in just a second, considering we have a glove and a cape to be able to get it. And it's just a bit of nothing. A bit of nothing being a bit of cash. So, it's something to someone, but it's nothing to us. That Hinox is in a bad spot. Zero Rush makes his way around it. First item in Skull Woods is just 50 rupees. Nice hook shot through that spike. That is actually a very tight positioning. It is a pixel perfect hook shot there. hook shots do go through stationary spikes, so that is a little time-saving strat that is very precise to get. It looks to me like Zero Rush is not interested in checking the middle chest of Skull Woods. Very low return possibility for such a like a minute time investment, maybe. So I completely understand why he's skipping out on it. Nothing in Sea House. Also, nothing in the chess game. Be interesting to see if Zero Rush chooses to check Thieves Town, if any at all, because it is the green pendant. You can full clear it. You does not need anything else to full clear it. Has the ability to, well, I take that back. It is Enemizer, so we could possibly need Fire Rods to be able to kill a Trinex or a Cold Stare / Bombos. So there is a risk of not being able to complete the dungeon. In fact, one thing about Thieves Town that is different than the vanilla run-through of this dungeon is that you do not have to rescue the fake maiden in the back of the dungeon. So you can actually go straight to the boss and see what it is if you can kill it. I have a feeling that death on Kegsai was not intentional because he still does not have the big key. So that must be a bit of a time loss. Probably experienced the Anti-Fairy on the bridge, which probably sent him flying a bunch of times, which I can totally understand. That is a rough experience. Alright, coming up on check of the boss here. So the amount of enemies on the screen just then caused the key to despawn, so Zero will have to come back into the dungeon if he wants to get that key. And it doesn't really matter either way because he cannot kill the Cold Stare that's back here. Chat asking how much damage those floating skull heads do. Yes, they do in fact do 4 hearts of damage with green mail. Nice other boomerang picked up there from the dig game. Not super important to us. Pardon me, but I seem to have missed where Zero Rush picked up the mushroom. But I do remember seeing it, I just don't remember where it was. Okay, if it was in Skull Woods, then in that case, there was no point in checking anything else because Zero Rush probably already found both items. We got ourselves a flute and a fire rod in Hype Cave. That flute doesn't open anything else up, but that fire rod actually... Oh, you know what? That fire rod will let us kill Cold Stare. So that is a bit awkward because the only way to get back there is to go all the way around again. Zero Rush is going to go ahead and activate his flute, though. He may go ahead and check out Desert Ledge and Agena Cave, just because it is a quick and easy check with Flute and Boots. Keg gonna go ahead and show us Catfish. We have not seen this yet on Zero Rush's side. And just some sticks, so nothing too important. Alright, Keg gonna make their way around to hook across the river into the second, and we'll follow Zero Rush's footsteps from the beginning of his Dark World excursion. Just a heart container on Desert Ledge. Zero Rush is about to show us what's inside King's Cave, and from this point, the next piece of progression will either have to be on Cold Stare or in the back of Thief's Town. In this case, it's probably off of Cold Stare, considering that we got that Fire Rod. You know what? We also have not seen the mushroom turn in, so I think Zero Rush is going to do that now. Yep, going to turn a mushroom. Nothing there. Zero Rush is going to go ahead and stock up on potions here. I can totally understand why, because Enemizer will force you to use resources more than you would like, so being prepared is always good. Zero Rush actually is going to go ahead and finish up his Zora checks that he could not finish earlier because he did not have enough money. Go to check out King Zora. Don't know if he'll want the bug net or not, but we'll see. And if I am to guess correctly here, the mushroom had to have been in this chest, because if we found... Ooh, okay, never mind. That Wallmaster will have other things to say about this. Thankfully, it's actually sort of quick to get back. You can just walk through this key door. Yeah, in Enemizer, rooms that normally... Oh my goodness, that Wallmaster is bodying Keg right now. That's the second time he's nailed him. Zero Rush is going to go ahead and pick up that bug net off of Zora. Probably's like, yeah, I might need this at some point. It's Enemizer. Could have a bad time. Alright, so, third time's a charm. Keg does not die or get grabbed by the Wallmaster, and he is good to go. But a third time because he actually needs to get out of the dungeon. Nice little fairy there. Nice little bonus for Keg. Making sure he doesn't die on the way to the middle. This room can get real rough. Although this one doesn't look too bad because it is basically just an Any-Fairy. That Any-Fairy will go through the statue. That is very annoying, but the Any-Fairy goes through that pushable statue. Ooh, Keg missing an opportunity there to quickly get back to the beginning. He could have ran into the Wallmaster's grasp and pushed himself back here, but it's just only a minor time loss. So, as expected, I mean, as I expected, I don't know about you guys, but Zero Rush is going to head back and most likely kill Cold Stare here. And also, he's going to learn his lesson about making sure there's not too many things on screen when he tries to get this key here. There we go. 8 Fire Rod shots to start to kill the shell. It's going to set up here to kick Cold Stare into the corner. and hope to use his fire out a bunch. He got hit there a couple times, so it's not going to be the most perfect fight. He has to be careful here. Colster does a lot of damage. He's going to go ahead and just use his potion to probably speed this fight up. And down goes Colster. This will give him the green pendant plus nothing. So, hopefully the green pendant will give us something, or else this Colster fight was most likely a bust. Zerorush going to go back inside and probably finish out the back. He wants to at least see if he can get anything else important out of here. Very nice traversal there of the hallway. That room can get rough and endomized. Ah, there was the mushroom. It was in the brewery. Okay, so mystery solved. Showing off a little bit of tidbit of knowledge there. You do not have to blow up that ceiling, since you do not have to rescue the maiden in Endomizer. Boss shuffle. Okay, so right now there's a 50-50 chance that this chest is either the last item or a small key. We're gonna hope it's not a small key, so we don't have to go back in here. And we're good. It seems that Zerorush is interested in finishing out Skull Woods as well, considering he has the fire rod now. In fact, every boss can be killed now, so we are good on being able to kill every boss. I don't think he wanted to take a fall in there. Just a bit of an excursion, a bit of a time loss. Ooh, Keg falling for the same trap that Zerorush did, lifting the pots a little too early. And Keg realizing, yeah, I can't kill this boss. I'm gonna come back. Looks like Keg is interested in going to finish out what's here in the back. And doesn't seem to realize that you have to wait until that enemy, either you don't explode that enemy, or you just have to wait until it's dead. So he's Gonna be bailing on Thieves Town for. Alright, looks like that confirms there is an item hanging out in the back of Skull Woods, so zerorush is going to figure out what that is. And actually, Keg actually saved and quit there, and that was not a very wise decision considering they had not checked any of the South Darkwood check. So as it stands, that's actually a pretty major time loss, considering this Fire Rod has to lead somewhere. It looks like the boss of Skull Woods will have our either item that's progression or the green pennant will lead to progression. I believe those are the last two spots we have not seen. Zerorush using some silver arrows to clear out some of the tougher enemies that are harder to kill and have a lot more health. Alright, dropping down here, we have ourselves an Argus fight. This fight can get pretty annoying with the conveyor moving. We'll see how zerorush fares. The conveyor always will move to the right though, so the movement patterns of the conveyor are not unpredictable in this instance. It can get a bit crowded sometimes. You can see as the hurricane of Argus eyes will sometimes clock you when you don't have enough room to avoid the spikes and the eyes themselves. And sometimes you just hook onto a block by accident. Oh yeah, and this Argus fight, Argus will only move to the right and the left, so it's a fairly quick cleanup. And there are the Titansmiths, so it is required to come to the back of Skull Woods today. So with those Titansmiths, zerorush has a few more checks he can do. Some on the mountain. He could go into Ice Palace if he really chooses to. I would probably wouldn't expect him to do that until he absolutely had to. He can also check out the Mire area, and he can also do the Smith sequence. So the myths do open up quite a bit for zerorush now. Alright, zerorush making his way through Bunny Cave. This is the only way you can go when you only have myths on these stuff. Gets a nice Tempered Sword upgrade there. Tempered Sword will make a lot of the combat in the rest of the seed very It's a lot friendlier. I'll just say that. Going to take a quick peek at the Turtle Rock Medallion. It is quick today, so we will need to add that to our list of things we need. Got ourselves a nice little safety there, and later on a nice item check, the powder. We also have the mirror. Actually, that mirror will let us check the powder spot now. That mirror will also let us go over to Tower of Hera in just a second. Although it looks to me like Zerorush is not currently interested in going to Hera just yet. Looks like he wants to check out what the green pendant has in store. Just a piece of heart. And I'm not sure what happened to Keg, but it looks like he's having to start back at his house. Probably took an unfortunate overworld death. And we will also be needing the Ether Medallion to open up Mizru Mire. With himself a third bottle, and he'll probably be checking out the desert area after he exits this room. Yep, here he comes with the mirror. We have everything we need to beat desert. We have, you know, the proper items to kill any boss. We have the boots. We have a glove. We have a fire source. We are all set to go in this dungeon. And those boots were required. I mean, we already knew they were required to get the Moon Pearl, but they are doubly required for the big key on its horse. Zerorush making his way through desert here. Gonna check this middle chest. It has the map. And Keg is gonna make their way to the boss of Skullwood, which is Argus. He will need to do this to get his mitts. And with the acquisition of that compass, that means the last two items are in the big key chest and in on the boss. Zerorush actually going to make use of that bug net there, getting himself a nice little fairy in a bottle. Nothing in the vanilla big key chest. Interfere chasing Keg around a bit, trying to light all the torches on his way to the Argus back here. Does not need to kill any enemies in this room because he has enough keys. Probably wants to get rid of that thief. Yeah, there you go. Wallmaster always stalking, making sure you don't get anywhere near the boss, but we're fine. Okay, you need to be careful. One hit and you're dead. Yeah, you might want to drink that potion. That's a very wise decision. This fight is not fun. Like, regardless of, you know, the predictability of the movement patterns of the floor, this fight's still not fun. We got ourselves a second cold stare, so 2 cold stares today will be... So cold stare will be one of the repeated bosses in this seed. We had to have at least 3 bosses. Sorry, we have to have exactly 3 bosses that repeat themselves in this seed. Did Zerorush just get a butter sword? Is that what I just saw? Gold sword? Yeah, it looks like it. So you're going to be required to get at least a tempered sword today, based on what swords each runner has. Keg gonna have to burn a second potion here. This fight is really killing them here. He's almost got it finished. He just has a few more eyes left to kill. Oh goodness, but a 1 hit from Argus will kill him. Gotta be real careful. Real careful. Real careful. 1, 2, takes that guy down. Gonna pull out the fire rod here. Honestly, I pull out the silvers instead. Yeah, there you go. And wow, clutches out that fight. Gonna get his mitts in just a second. Good job, Keg. Had to burn a couple potions, but in the end he did get the job done, gets some mitts. And now Zerorush is going to make his way to Hera, where he finds the hammer. So the hammer was just chilling in Tower of Hera this whole time. Zerorush was actually right by it, but he does eventually get his hammer. So, in terms of what we need for Go mode here, we're still looking for the Kane Samaria, Ethan Medallion, and Quake Medallion. Zerorush going to show us a bit of a Hook Speed Hera plot clip here. Oh man, that guy is well in the way of trying to do this. He's just going to bail on it, so... He says, I am tired of this fight, let's just move on. Keg gonna come take revenge on the cold stare that he could not kill earlier. Wow, we got ourselves a bit of a tile glitch here. Being able to scroll the screen a bit. Oh, that's because he did not scroll the camera all the way to the right in the previous room. Silvers do not work on this boss. You have to use the fire rod or a sword or a hammer. And he's gonna die if he's not careful. Oh, that's a rough death. Oh, that's a bunch of your magic gone. That does not feel good. Got ourselves a Vitreous at the top of Tower of Hera. This fight's actually really nice and easy because there's no poison. You can just stand to the right and clock some damage on all forms of the eye. In fact, you can kill Vitreous if you're fast enough, and if you have like Gold Sword or Tempered Sword. So down goes Vitreous in Hera. Thankfully for Keg, that cold stare fight is looking like it's not going to be required. So he'll be fine. Keg is not sure why he's going this way. He may not have checked the Spectacle Rock Cave. Yeah, it looks like he has not, because he just now sees that Cane of Burnup for the first time. Zerorush going to finish off his mountain checks here by checking Spike Cave. After this, he has a few options. He could go into Swamp, he could go into finish off Pod. And that's pretty much it. I think, oh, you know what? I don't know if he checks Checkerboard Cave or not, but he could do that too. Got ourselves a nice little shield. I'd probably be saying no to that shield, that's just me. Oh, and nice thinking here by Zero Rush. Because we killed Aghanim and we have the mirror, saving and quitting inside Spike Cave would put us back in the pyramid, which we do not want. It's a bit of slow. So it requires a bit of magic and a bit of speed to make the time save worth doing. Alright, Heart Container, thank you so much. Zero Rush going to go ahead and finish off Pod. This makes a lot of sense because it is only one check and is a required check, essentially. So may as well go ahead and get it out of the way now. So let's do a quick recap of how many bosses we've seen so far. We saw a vanilla Armos Knights fight. We had two cold stairs so far, one at Landmo and the other at Blind. Sorry, the boss at Desert Palace and the boss at Thief's Town. We had a Vitreous at the Hera boss, and we had an Argus at the Skull Woods boss. So bosses we still have not seen would be Helmasaur, Blind, Mothula, and Trinex. And Lamo and Moldorm, yeah, there we go. So we still haven't seen about half the bosses. Which I guess at this point in the game, it's kind of par for the course, considering we've only been to 5 dungeons. Okay, getting their mirror in Hookshot Cave. We'll probably be heading over to Tower of Hera in just a second. Couple dark rooms coming up here on Zero Rush's side. These can be a bit annoying, especially in the upcoming room where sick turtles usually are. Cat getting his hammer in Tower of Hera. And that's actually pretty easy room, so nothing too much to talk about there. Oh, that dead rock. Come on. That's bean-spirited. And he just kind of disappeared. We got ourselves a Trinex. Thank goodness we have the Ice Rod. The Ice Rod's actually in pod, so we're fine. And Gold Sword makes this fight relatively quickly. You don't have to worry about either the heads spewing out. Well, no, they do still spew out ice and fire, but the ice will not stick to the floor. Zero Rush actually almost taking a death there. That would have been pretty tragic. But he takes down Trinex, kills his 4th crystal boss for a red mail upgrade. So the spots that Zero Rush could still go to would be Swamp Palace, Ice Palace, the Smith Chain. He can still do that, and that's pretty much it. So we're running a little bit low on stuff we can do. Looks like he's interested in doing Hammer Pegs and Smith Chain, with also the Magic Bat to boot. We have the powder. We also have the hammer. Let us see how Keg's Vitreous fight fares. He has a silver arrow, so this fight will be quite easy. Interesting thing about this Vitreous fight is that you can actually stand on the ledge up there by the entry point of this boss room, and the eyes will come up and try to attack you, but you can just kind of, you kind of have a little bit of a safety buffer. because they can reach you, but you basically have free reign of not having to worry about falling, and you're kind of out of the way of the lightning as well. So it's a bit of a nice little safety strat if you're interested. Takes down Vitreous, gets his 4th crystal boss done. Excuse me, 2nd crystal boss. Going to pick up his Cane of Burna here. I do not blame him at all. Is a slower magic drain, so probably preferable over the cane sometimes, although it lags like crazy. Coming up on the Smith turn in here, the Hammer Peg's check was nothing, and neither is the Smith. Okay, getting his shield out of Spike Cave. Zerorush going to be getting his Piece of Heart off Magic Bat, so nothing there either. Going to be doing the purple chest right after. Okay, going to be making his way to the mire area / desert area, probably in the full clear desert. That's right, we also got the mirror pretty late, so we actually have some mirror checks we could do, like K45 and Graveyard Ledge. And actually King's Tomb as well, since we got the mids really late too. K45 not having anything. Alright, Zerorush using a little bit of a trick here. You can actually leave the purple chest behind the Dark World and just kind of run around and then mirror right the exact spot where you want to turn it in and not have to slowly walk around. But the Smith Chain not really turning out to be anything, and it looks like Zerorush might be heading to do Graveyard Ledge and King's Tomb. Zerorush must not be a fan of Ice Palace if it means he's going to be going in there without the Cane of Samaria to make it fast. Actually, the Cane of Samaria would make both Swamp and Ice faster, and we don't have that yet. Keg using a little bit of tech there. Bombs will kill Hinoxes in one hit, even though it doesn't look like... they throw bombs around like crazy. It's kind of strange to hear that they might die to their own attack. So it looks to me like, yes, in fact, we will have to go into one of these dungeons, i.e. Swamp Palace or Ice Palace, because that is where our next progression lies. And if I had to guess, Zero Rush will probably be mirroring here after Catfish and going to Ice Palace. Considering the portal to Ice Palace is right here. Nope, he chooses to flute instead. Okay, coming up on their Cold Stare fight here in Desert Palace. Let's see if he can fare a bit better than his other Cold Stare fight. He has to be really careful here. One hit from a Cold Stare Puff will kill him. Oh, but the ice will also do him in? Oh, man, that stinks. Okay, oh, you know what? He was smart. He got a fairy. Look at him. So, what could have been a really scary moment there actually turned out to be just fine. You know what? I guess at this point, I'll go ahead and take back what I said about the bug net early on. That bug net actually coming in handy for our runners. Man, putting spike traps in, like, icy floor rooms is just a really rude thing for the game to do. That spike is so poorly placed, you can't really dash past it once you hit the switch. That lever is very poorly placed. Once a lever hits a wall, once it's emerged from the ground, it will sink back into the ground and remain intangible until their next cycle. That happens. They're trolling Zero Rush a little bit. Zero Rush showing off his NMG prowess by setting up that bomb jump almost instantaneously. I really wish I knew how to do that easily. In a normal energy run, or like non-enemizer run, that would set you up to hammer dash into the switch pot there, and it would let you quickly and efficiently get through that room. No, we don't. The enemy is usually not going to be a problem in that room, so we just hookshot our way past everything. So coming into Ice Palace without the help of the Cane Samaria will make us come through it the normal way. Keg actually going to use his powder and get himself another fairy since he just used one. There's the Quake Medallion. That by itself doesn't open anything for us because we still need the Cane Samaria to do anything in Turtle Rock. But it is nice to have, you know, since it is required. Using that Cane of Burner to get past that spike that will just not get out of the way. Looks like we only have one item in ice so far. 2 items remain out of the possible 3 in Ice Palace. Theoretically, we could get our the rest of our Go Mode items in here, but that's not very likely. There isn't any fairy underneath that pot, so you could use your powder to get a nice little fairy right there. Keg also making his way through Ice Palace. He's about to do his bomb jump. ooh, Zero Rush taking an unintentional fall there. He might have to skip that chest on the but he finds his ether medallion, so we are now Kane Samaria from Go Mode. Keg is having some trouble with his bomb jump, and looks like he's going to bail on doing it, so he will have to go through this dungeon a long way. In fact, there is a possibility that he may not be able to complete this dungeon, depending on what he finds here. Paying off, there's a small key on not Cold Stare, Vitreous, since it is a Vitreous. Nope, okay, they're just fine. That means there's a small key in the Freezor chest, and Keg will be able to finish this dungeon. Luckily for Zero Rush, he did not miss out on the last item in here, and will not have that, you know, hanging over his head, thinking, "Oh man, I may have skipped my Kane Samaria." But nope, he is just. And honestly, considering that Ether Medallion only opens up, you know, 2 possible items in Mire, I can see why Zero Rush is more interested in going to Swamp to get his Cane than going to Mire. It makes a lot of sense, so I do not mind this play at all that Zero Rush is doing right now. And Keg just getting their Big Key and their Quake here in Ice Palace. They are going to make their way and get their Ether eventually as well. So all in all, there were 2 medallions on right side ice today. The Quake being in the vanilla Big Key chest, the Big Key being in the map chest, and the Ether medallion being in the big chest. It's a semi-stacked Ice Palace, but nonetheless 2 required medallions. And here is Ether for Keg, and he is just needing his Kane Samaria as well for Go Mode. Heck needs to be a little careful in here in this room. He almost died there. That room was a bit rough. Ooh, he takes a death there. That will take away his fairy, so he is left to his own devices up on this upcoming Vitreous. He has got no safeties. I don't think he has any safeties left. I could be wrong, though. Alright. Zero Rush going to show us some diver down without the cane here. The Antifairy could get in the way, though. We'll see how he fares. Oh my goodness, that Antifairy. Oh, that's terrible. Look at that! What is that Antifairy doing?
Doesn't look like Zero Rush found the cane over there in the back of Swamp just now. So he'll continue on to the boss of Swamp. We have our first encounter with Lamolas. We get our 4th bottle for our troubles. So in terms of what we have left here, we could go pull the pedestal, we could do left side swamp, or go into the mire without the cane. So Zero Rush wants to pick his poison here. And he is choosing to go to left side. Zero Rush, you already used the key. You have to go to the left first. I'm sorry, you have to go to the bottom first and get your key, and then go to the top. Takes down Vitreous in Ice Palace, Keg does. That is his 4th Crystal Dungeon complete. We have 5 locations left to us to find the Cane of Samaria. Here come 2 of them. It's not here. You know what's funny? I'm fairly certain Zero Rush didn't open the big chest, so he's actually fine. But imagine if he had like, left the cane in the big chest, and you just imagine that he had already opened up both chests. But checking his menu, he did not have the map in his possession, which means that it was in the big chest, so he was fine. All right, well. There's a 1 in 3 chance this Cane of Samaria is on the pedestal, so let's see if it's here. At this point, it would be a blind pull pedestal, almost certainly, because we have not seen the book at all. No, it's just a green rupee. It is in Misery Mountain. Alright, Keg making his way to the back of Palace of Darkness, where he will fight his Trinex. Thank goodness that the Ice Rod was easy to find. This room is filled with nothing but popos by the looks of it, so this is a significant increase in doability. Nothing but a key in the first chest of Meyer. Where could this cane of Samaria possibly be? Will it be in here, or will it be behind a shovel? Because that's, or it could be behind a book. You know, the book could just be in here, and then we have to go find it on either tab. Oh man, that dead rock is in a real bad spot here in this dungeon. In a narrow passageway, so hard to get by. Smartly using the powder to make sure he doesn't bother him anymore. There's the cave Samaria. It is on the left side of Meyer. So, 1 hour, 36 minutes, and 15-ish seconds or something like that. Zerorush has now officially entered go mode. He just needs to find the Meyer big key, finish off the boss here in Mr. Meyer, and go up in go mode Turtle Rock, and then climb GT and kill Ganon. Keg finishing off the Trinex fight here in House of Darkness. And honestly, to make this, you know, decently close match, Keg would have to go straight to Meyer, so we'll see if he does it. Nice vanilla big key, so... Oh, Zerorush. Thinking about showing off the little bomb jump there, but realizing that he doesn't need to do that since he has the big key. Zerorush looks like he's setting up for his spooky action here in just a second. I'm not entirely sure what Keg is doing here. He does have the flute and mirror. Okay, it looks like Zerorush is maybe didn't have spooky set up just exactly how he should have, so he's doing this the normal. Keg looks like they're going to check out the North Dark World checks, like King's Tomb and Graveyard Ledge. We'll not find anything here. And here's our first Helmosaur of the seed. So in terms of bosses that we have not seen yet, I think the only boss we have not seen yet is Moldorm. Which means there's at least one Moldorm. There's probably at least one Moldorm in Ganon's Tower, but there could be one in Turtle Rock as well. So that is crystal number 6 for Zerorush. Ah, blind. That's the other one I could not think of. Thank you. So crystal number 6 for Zerorush. He's going to be on his way to Turtle Rock to finish off that boss there. And then head into Ganon's Tower straight after. The duplicate bosses we have so far are Vitreous and Cold Stare. We have not found a third duplicate just yet. That could be in Turtle Rock, or it could be in GT. Looks like Keg is going to do the Smith chain, so he is drifting further and further away from Zero Rush right now, so it's just going to be Zero Rush's game to lose by the looks of it. Zero Rush making his way through Paradox on his way to Turtle Rock. Keg about to pick up the Frog here and turn him. Using that Quake Medallion, we've opened up Turtle Rock. We're going inside. We're going to go mode it. We don't need anything else. Be interesting to see if Zero Rush, if the big key is not vanilla, will choose to do the Turtle Rock gamble, in which you skip out on the vanilla big key chest and the big chest in hopes of being able to get all the keys necessary without having to waste too much time in a dungeon go moding it. Typically, it is the smart play to do when you find a big key early, but it just all depends. You know, some runners have been messed up by that key layout, so we'll just have to see how it plays. This room being a lot nicer without those rollers, those pesky rollers in the way. Nice little bonus shovel before heading on to the back of... I'm amazed that, I'm amazed that that Pokey did not, or the Bokuba, however you want to say, did not get in the way of Zero Rush there. That looked very clearly in the way of the path of the cane block, but I guess. Okay, going to be turning in the purple chest here. Not going to be finding anything. He needs to make his way to Mire if he wants to make it any more closer than it already is. But we'll see what he chooses to do. Honestly, he's right next to Swamp, so I would not be surprised to see him venture inside. So, I wasn't exactly paying attention very well, but it looked like the big key was in fact vanilla. No, it was not. Okay, Zero Rush is just playing it safe and making sure he doesn't skip a small key. Which, in this case, he actually may have made the right call here, depending on what is in this chest. No, okay, so it actually worked out even better, so now I can skip Laser Bridge. Yeah, yet another Wallmaster that's just kind of like, hey, I'm here. Watch out. Could have been really bad, but Zero Rush was prepared. As we Alright, Zero Rush almost to the Turtle Rock boss here. We've got a good chance that it could be Blind, could be Moldorm, or could be a repeat boss that we have not yet seen. Oh, it's Mothula. Hey, that boss I forgot about. So, Blind is guaranteed to be in either... No, actually, this guarantees that Blind is in the basement of Ganon's Tower. Blind is at Ice Armos today. Because Blind cannot be in either the Lamo 2 room or the Moldorm 2 room. Either way, that is crystal number 7 for Zero Rush. You know what that means. So we're coming up on Ganon's Tower here in just a second. Get your guesses in the chat. 1 through 22. Which chest, using Zero Rush's side here, will the big key be in? The guessing game will close guesses as soon as Zero Rush makes his way inside Ganon's Tower. The last number you put in will be the guess that you will finalize with. So choose wisely. Going right first. Gets a small key to start. He will probably continue to go right here. Fire Snake being a little bit troublesome, but not too bad. Alright, coming up on 3 through 6, we got Piece of Heart for number 3, Heart Container for number 4, Big 20 for number 5, and a Piece of Heart for number 6. So we will continue to the left side after getting the small key here. As I was saying before, this guarantees that Blind will be at Ice Armos today. And either Moldorm will either be at Lamo 2 or at its vanilla location. Just a green rupee for number 7 on the torque. We do not have our repeats figured out. We do have them narrowed. We do know that Moldorm will have to be in either of the 2 upper locations. Blind will be... There will be 1 blind. And actually, since there only will be 1 blind, it has to be in Ice Armos because it can't be a Lamo 2 or Moldorm 2. So 8 through 12, still no big key. Number 13, still no big key. Alright, number 14, big 20. Number 15, the Balmouth Medallion. 16, a Heart Container. And 300 rupees for number 17. We are down to Bob's chest behind the Ice Armos fight, which will be Blind. and tile room. You know, honestly, with the sheer lack of keys we've been getting, I think the key logic will forcibly place a small key in tile room this time around. That bird was very poorly placed. It had a lot to say about Zero Rush going really fast in this dungeon. You got the Book of Medora. Alright, well, Zero Rush is going to face off against Blind. Yeah, using the Cane of Burna to make this fight slightly easier. It is very annoying to deal with ice physics fighting a boss. And down goes. Number 19, number 20, number 21. Oh man, that was close. 21 is the answer. Cannon's Gone Wild. Actually, Cannon's Gone Wild almost picked the wrong key. He actually almost picked 5, but he got his answer too late, so his first guess was initially correct. Congratulations to Cannon's Gone Wild. You're the winner. You get 10 points added to the leaderboard for the big key guessing game. Go crazy, my friend. Alright, Zero Rush making his way up the gauntlet now. He's going to choose to go around that spike. Wise decision. Not a very friendly placed spike. This gauntlet is looking pretty decent. Nothing too scary so far. We got the gold sword, we got silvers, we got a lot of health, we got red mail. We should be good to go here. Silver arrows are probably your friend throughout most of this because they are a ranged weapon and you have a lot of them and they kill pretty much everything in one shot. Alright, so Moldorm is our boss here at Lammo 2, which means the last boss that is repeated can only be 5 bosses. It cannot be Blind, it cannot be Trinex, it cannot be Armos Knights, it cannot be Lammo, and it cannot be Argus. So we got 5 bosses that this last boss could potentially be. Actually, only 3 because we've already seen 2 Cold Stares and 2 Biddies. So really, it's actually only 3 bosses: a Moldorm, a Helmasaur, or a Moth. Alright, this torch room is a lot nicer. You don't have to deal with that stupid fire bar swinging around the middle. Just do some nice little dashes and speed strats. This room is also usually nicer because you don't have to worry about the fire sparks in the way. Zero Rush not needing to pick up these chests here. He has enough of good stuff that he does not need to worry about more weaponry or whatnot. He's got silver, he's got gold sword. And Helmasaur is our final repeat boss. Zerorush is like, I'm done here. Tries to hover, does not get it off successfully. Looks like Keg is going to go ahead and give us our second blind ped pull of the day. Oh, Zerorush getting clocked by the Helmasaur tail. Almost got swiped again, but this time he looks to be fine. Gets the hover. Ooh, nasty Igor's in the way. You can't really dash through those guys. You'll end up taking damage because they are only hurt by a bow. And we are finally up to Aghanim 2. Ooh, nearly getting a triple there. Just barely missed that last one. That looked like a single because I think one shot was interrupted there. Ooh, that was no hits at all, so that's 2-1-0. Once again, you know, I honestly don't know the reason why Aghanim just loses energy there, but he sometimes does. Alright, 5, 6. There we go. Zerorush wasn't exactly happy with that Aghanim fight, showing his displeasure with a few bomb drops and a few bonks to boot. Yeah, well, one thing about Enemizer is that it kind of screws up the sprites that you see every now and then. You'll see that a lot, especially in the credits. Sometimes you'll see it even in the GT climb, but we didn't get any of that today. Again, telling us about duck, sheeps, and roosters. We don't really care. We're just going to kill them. We want bacon. Gold Sword makes this fight exceptionally easy. Only need to hit him 6 times each of the first 2 phases. 4 times for phase 3. And then 4 silver arrows during phase 4 to kill that pit. All right, we got silver arrows. This ending sequence will be nice and simple. There's 2 silver arrow shots. Gonna get another 2 right here with this nice little setup. That is Ganon dead. Get your GGs in chat for Zerorush. Gonna take this to give I Like Big Boots their 5th win and their 15th points. And with an official SRL time of 1:58.36, Zerorush has finished in 1st place. Let's see if we can get him in for an interview. Keg is working his way, is about to get his Case of Maria. There it is on his screen. He's about to get his big key as well. And he'll just need to finish up Meyer and Turrock. Alright, Keg just now lighting torches and moving the wall here to get his big key. It's a nice little fairy using the powder on that. Powder on that anti-fairy. Gonna fill up his magic as well. And we are joined by zerorush. GG's.
Hey, good games.
So, were you pulling the pedestal there near the end? Were you feeling a little bit nervous?
Not really. I mean, there was something in Skullwoods anyway, early on. And Deepstown was accessible really early and was the Green Pendant. So the only thing I was really kind of annoyed about was that Swamp had nothing. But I figured at that point there was so much else going on. Probably didn't matter that much.
Yeah, honestly, with how much you had left to do there at the end, Swamp wasn't a bad play. It just, didn't work.
Yeah, I mean, Red Cane and Mire will always be one of those things that going there for 2 items when you only need 1 for go mode and you can't complete the dungeon is usually not a good idea, but that's kind of why I put it to last. I think I did literally everything else though.
Yeah, so when's the last time you played an Enemizer seed? I don't know how much you've been doing tournament-wise or just, casual race-wise.
I mean, I did a couple practice seats this week, both of which were way worse than this one, but so that's nice. But outside of that, usually just casually when I don't know, there's like a race I join, or I think the last time I did one in an actual tournament setting was not the last tournament, the one before that, where they had the pick and ban game modes.
Yeah, the fall 2018 tournament, yeah.
Yeah, I think that was it. This seed wasn't too bad though, enemy-wise. There was a couple rough, really rough screens, like the Spike and Chain Chomps and Aga Tower was kind of nasty. More so, it was just a lot of annoying placements of enemies. Like, so many key enemies were things that are underground or disappear. So you kind of had to just wait for them to respawn a lot of the time.
Yeah, there were a couple instances, like namely the, what was it? The Lionel over by Ice Rod Cave. Actually clocked both of them.
He came out of nowhere, man. He just... right there.
Yeah, nothing could prepare you for what you're about to run into there.
That was pretty good. Yeah, that... I mean, not a whole lot to do there, I guess. Maybe be more careful when you're dashing. But, like, I had a sword. I figured literally the only enemy that could be there to kill me would be a Lionel.
And wouldn't you know? And then also, you mentioned some of the kill rooms. Yeah, the I believe they're levers that kept on, disappearing into the ground when you didn't want them to. But, I mean, other than that, the seed wasn't too, unfriendly.
Yeah, mostly it was the item placement that was bad. Fire Rod. Aga required from Moon Pearl, Fire Rod and Hype Cave to get mitts in, Skullwoods?
Yeah, off the Skullwoods boss, yeah. So basically 2 required trips around the long way.
Yep, and then Hammer, of course, was in Hera, and I went up to Death Mountain immediately, and then found the mirror, and then left, completely forgetting about Hera.
I was wondering about that. You left
the
crystal. Yeah, you leaving a crystal dungeon when you could have fully cleared it. It was a bit curious, but it worked out.
I was just thinking of desert. I was like, sweet, I can get to desert now, and then completely forgot about Hera. But it's okay. It wasn't that much, They were both getting done, so I didn't lose that much time. Maybe like 15-20 seconds to reclimb the ladder.
Yeah, of all in unintentional time losses, that was probably the least punishing because it's easier to get back to Hera than it is trying to go around the long way without the.
overall, though, just a long seed. Like in terms of Animizer stuff, it wasn't that bad. Even Gauntlet in GT was just a bunch of like regular guards, pretty much. It's kind of annoying.
Yeah, and those guards tend to lag the game more when there's
Yeah.
more of them all bunched together, and so it's like, please stop slowing the game down. So yeah, this is your second race in the league so far. You raced last week and you raced tonight. So, what are you thinking so far?
I don't know. We're still undefeated, so that's good.
I guess there's that.
Yeah, I forget. It's top 2 advances, right? So
Actually, it is top 3. The 1 seed in each division gets a bye in the first round of playoff.
okay, yeah, I think at our current pace, we should be good, as long as we continue winning our matches, obviously. But other than that, yeah, I mean, so far it's been going pretty well. A lot of early boot seats for me, which I like.
Oh yeah, I'm sure everyone's a fan of getting boots early. The only reason I would think people aren't a fan of boots is, if it comes down to hookshot for go mode and it's swamp pendant.
Yep. Luckily that doesn't come up too much though, but I mean it does happen, so it's good to have that as a backup. But with Boulder and Bounce, honestly, everyone should know how to do one or the other, or both.
Yeah. All right, Keginthecloset going to pick up his small key here. He's going to make his way to the back. He does not need to pick up this chest. Oh yeah, I saw you play it safe in Turtle Rock. You did not choose to skip the big chest.
Correct, I never do.
Oh, interesting.
Viewers, there you go. There's a number 1 strat to use against me. Is I never skip the big chest because I hate doing that. I realize it's a very low chance, but I'd rather not backtrack. I mean, I don't know. It's more about consistency than anything.
Yeah, but see, in a co-op race, you tend to want to do that. And so, I mean, I hope you understand me when we do co-op races that I will skip it.
Well, in that case, usually one person is ahead or behind the other. So, if we're in a co-op race and you get key locked, you can tell me that, and then I'll get the key. Or you can say, hey, you don't need to grab that chest. I can skip it.
But yeah, I tend to skip it just because, I like saving time, and I usually don't get burned. I don't think I've actually ever gotten burned by it. Well, maybe once, but it's very low percentage.
Yeah, I used to always skip it way back in the day, but it came up enough for me, and it lost me a few races that I would have gotten first in. Ended up getting like 8th, which sucks. I don't know.
And recently, Willard J. Bradley did that against Gamachu, and it actually helped him win. He actually did not skip the big chest.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, it goes both ways, so I'm sure it saves more time overall, but it's kind of like how I like doing right side GT if I find a small key over there, because it doesn't take that long. It saves a lot of time if I don't have to, do the entire left side and come back. It's just I like lowering the variance of my seeds, I guess.
So I'm going to go ahead and answer any potential questions here because since I'm on your team, but you're playing. It looks like you might be playing the rest of the weeks here. I feel like.
I think that's correct. Yeah.
Yeah. You'll
it's mystery next week, and then cross keys.
Yeah, cross keys, and then spoiler pilot key sanity and co-op all dungeons to finish.
Yep. Busy schedule.
Yeah, and aren't you at the same time doing the restricted major glitches tournament that's going on currently?
Yes, I have my first match against legendary Link to the Past runner Steven tomorrow.
I have no idea who that is, but I'm sure they're good. Alright, Keg making their way into Ganon's tower now. The big key was behind the Ice Armos location, which in this case had to be blind. I don't know if you actually paid attention to that, but that boss had to be blind based on what we had been seeing.
Ice Armos, or?
Yeah, Ice Armos, because we had already seen 2 repeat bosses, and considering that blind couldn't be in the top 2 bosses, then it had to be at Ice Armos because we had not seen blind.
Oh yeah, I mean, I wasn't thinking too much about which bosses would be where because I had all the items anyway. But yeah, and I don't think Helmasaur can be at Ice Armos. I might be wrong about that. There's some bosses that can be certain spots. I forget what it is.
Yeah, there's a list somewhere.
Yeah. Blind can't be upstairs because I don't think blind works on super tiles on the 4x4 or 2x2 tiles or whatever. I think it's the reason for that. That's why Helmasaur has busted sprites whenever you fight him in a big room, where it like shows him in the corner with his legs and stuff.
Yeah, I do remember. Yeah, and like when you tried to hover against Moldorm, the Helmasaur up there, you could see a bit of that when you were trying to hover.
Yeah.
That was rude, by the way. That freaking tail whip.
I should have just waited for it, so it's kind of my fault. Like, I knew it was coming, and I was just like, it'll be fine, but it wasn't fine. But either way, I'm sure I still save time, because it's a long boss to kill.
Yeah, it's also pretty annoying, and you can honestly accidentally fall, you know, regardless of whether you're hovering or not in that.
Yeah, very easy.
I think part of the reason why blind doesn't work in the Lammo 2 arena is also the bunny beam. I feel like it could have something to do with that, but I think honestly your explanation makes more sense.
Yeah, I'd have to. I'm fairly certain that's the reason, but I also don't know this game's code very well, so I'd have to double check that. But I think that's why. I think it breaks or something. Or I could just be completely wrong. I don't know. Still waiting for the day when they throw Ganon into the boss shuffle.
Or nagging him.
Yep. Yeah. Chaos boss shuffle. Every boss could be Aghanim 1.
I think at a GDQ they were planning to use the crowd control thing, a double Ganon, but that never panned out.
Yeah, it was, I don't remember if it was double Ganon they were having issue with. There was one crowd control they were testing where when it activated, it spawned an extra Ganon. I think that might have been like chickens or something. I can't remember.
Oh man. Well, Zero Rush, if you have any final thoughts, won't keep you any longer if you don't want to.
No. Yeah, this is a kind of boring Enemizer seed, to be honest. But sometimes that happens, I guess. Kind of got a lot early and pretty mild enemies. So, like the max difficulty, I don't think was even close to being approached for Enemizer. So that was kind of disappointing, but at the same time, I had to full clear the entire seed. So, like I say, it was trolly in its own way.
Yeah, for sure. Well, thank you for chilling in the commentator booth afterwards. I'll see you around, I suppose, and have a nice one.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks for commentating. Thanks for watching. Good luck to my opponent the rest of his run, and I will see you all next time.
Yeah, thanks so much, Zero Rush. All right, well, Keg is on their way to the big key. They're about to find it. They are about to find it in this chest back here. There it is. They are climbing up the tower in just a second. At this point, all Keg is playing for are those delicious fantasy points. See if he can't get snag himself some more points, you know. That's truly what the league is about, isn't it? It's all about the fantasy points. Although at this point, the only fantasy points that could be gained from this was not having the gold sword, which you already have, not having the red mail, which you already have. Yeah, so, and just making sure you don't bonk. I guess that's, the big thing. Using a bit of fire rod strats to make his time easier in here. Fire rod actually does not do a lot of damage to the Pengators. They are actually kind of immune to it. It takes like 2 or 3. Alright, killing the Moldworm 2 in this room. I'll be heading up to face off with the rest of the Gauntlet Clan. Alright, that room right there can get a bit rough at times. Like, that Finny Fairy is, usually one of the reasons why it can be rough, but in conjunction with other enemies, for sure. Actually, I've had an instance where my magic bar glitched out in that room because of an Finny Fairy. But Keg is on their way to the torch room, the second torch room. Trying to use his powder here to get some health back. Having a little bit of trouble, but manages to powder that Finny Fairy. Getting them to their second row of hearts there. Gonna opt to use bombs here on this Helmosaur. I do not blame them. Although, being in this position over here, the tail can knock you off pretty easily, so I'd be careful. Oh no, he takes a fall right before he's about to kill him. Oh man, that's rough. I have to go through the entire fight again because of that. And he is very low on bombs, so he's probably not going to be using bombs for the remainder of this fight. Taking another fall there, yeah, this like Zero Rush and I were talking about, this fight can get pretty nasty if you're not careful. Alright, takes down the stupid Helmosaur there that knocked him down twice before finally giving in. I'm gonna be hooking across here to go take on Aghanim 2 and take on the big pig after. Gets one energy ball on Aghanim. Misses some more on the next one. See if he can get some more here. No, doesn't look like it. Aghanim not playing nice for Keg here. Alright, he gets another one there. 4 more hits on this goofball Aghanim. Looks like one more hit will do it. There we go. Down goes Aga 2. Right, with using that cape to his advantage to make this fight even easier than it already is with the gold sword and silvers. Hugging the wall also to save a bit of magic, because the magic does not drain when you're holding the wall when the cape is active. Fight going pretty smooth so far. Gonna prepare his fire rod, I suppose, to hit the torches. Yeah, he's gonna use some silvers to start. Oh, he missed. He was a little too high there. You have to be on either two. You have to be centered on either the two tiles. Up here will be fine. Yeah. Otherwise, you will miss. One more silver to the pig, and down he will go. This should do it. And get your GGs in chat for Keginthecloset, killing the pig once and for all. Randomizer is not a fun mode, but they stuck through it and they persevered, and they have now joined us in booth. GG's to you, Keg.
GG's. Whew, that was a seed.
Yeah, you both you and zerorush did quite a bit this seed. You know, that was, you know, unfortunately unnecessary and just kind of made it, you know, feel much worse than it actually was.
Right. Yeah, I thought for sure he would dip Meyer right away. That's why I essentially did the pet pull. So.
Yeah, in fact, you assumed that he would do the thing after all, but he didn't. You actually both did the exact same thing and did all the pendant dungeons before going into mine.
Yeah, I see that now. It feels bad. There's a lot of mistakes on my end that but oh well, it's randomizer.
Yeah, for a lot of new people or, you know, not less experienced people, yeah, Randomizer is a big opportunity to be thrown for a loop, and it really, you know, I can attest. I do not like Randomizer. That's kind of why I had zerorush and Ganon's Gone Wild run this week.
Yeah, it makes sense. See, I really don't mind Randomizer per se, but I don't like full boss shuffle.
Ah, I see. You prefer just the enemy shuffle?
Yeah, if I'm gonna do an Randomizer, just the enemy shuffle. Yeah. Not a super huge fan of Randomizer though, so.
Well, you and I you get along with that one just fine then.
For sure.
But yeah, this one was not fun in many ways, including, you know, the required, you know, hooking across the river twice, to, you know, get your fire rod first and then go kill the boss in the back of Skullwood.
Yeah, to get Titans. Yeah. Yeah. I must have missed something because I didn't do the back of Thieves Town because I was missing a small key. I thought I checked underneath the pot, but I didn't see one. It was really weird.
Alright, so
Killing
something
the
silly
Mulborn
about
2
that
in
is
his
that
room,
you and
heading
zerorush
up
actually ran into the same problem.
face off with the rest of the gauntlet.
So you killed, or the guy exploded. That little floating, whatever you call him, exploded, and he put too much sprites on the screen, so it despawned the key when you lift the pot.
Yeah, I realize that now. Wow. Imagine if something was back there.
Yeah, that was a first for me too. I saw zerorush and I was like, uh-oh. Well, I guess he's gonna fight the boss now.
Yeah, wow.
But yeah, any other interesting things, you know, that you want to talk about?
I thought that the first part went really well, and then I got super tilted in like Skullwoods, getting
that room right there can get
and
a
everything
bit rough at times.
and then
like
that
fairy
pod was super
is,
slow with
you know,
all the intentional.
usually
deaths
one of the
and
reasons why it
regular
can be
deaths.
rough, but
And then
in conjunction
and then
with other
dipping,
enemies, sure.
dipping.
Actually, I've had an instance where my magic bar
swamp
glitched out
and going
in that room
left side,
because of
but
an
then
fairy.
nearing before getting the last item
But
because
Keg
I
is on their way
miscounted.
to the torch room. The second torch room.
There's a lot of stuff.
Yo, you mentioned that. I was gonna say something about that, but zerorush kind of did something similar almost, where he went into swamp. He actually went straight to left side after already finishing the front. I think he forgot to check the big chest, but thankfully that was just the map.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah.
funny stuff all around, it seems. Oh yeah, and of course, you know, both of you blind pulled the pedestal for your wonderful green rupee. Trying to use his powder here
Yes,
to get
love
some
it.
health back. Having a little bit of trouble, but manages to.
So yeah,
how are you liking the
getting
league
them
so
to their
far?
second row
You've
parts there.
raced. I guess you've raced 2 races now, or how many?
Yeah, I raced the first fruit week against Super Taylor, and then now I've raced Zerorush.
I'm gonna opt to use bombs here
two
on
big
this
names,
Helmosaur.
so
I do not blame
it's pretty
them.
fun to play.
Although
against them.
being in this position over here, the tail can knock you off pretty easily, so I'd be careful.
Although intimidating at times.
No, that's for sure. You know, I think our first few rounds haven't been against the bigger name teams, so we're still holding out to see how we do with them. But yeah, you guys have already had experience with the bigger names. Like you've already faced off with Kyung and Frame, or just maybe Super and Taylor.
Mhm.
But yeah.
Did so when
Oh
you
no,
play,
he takes a
kinda
fall
ran over
right
third.
before he's about to kill him.
We play
Oh,
them
man, that's rough.
week 6, which
Have
is
to
a
go through the entire
spoiler
fight again because
pilot Key Sanity. Which
Ooh,
is,
that's gonna be a
it's
good
And
one.
he is very
'cause
low on bombs.
both of them
so
are
he's
really good
probably
at
not gonna be
spoiler.
using bombs for
sure,
the
for
remainder
sure.
of this fight.
Yeah, didn't Keong win the spoiler tournament?
Yeah, he sure did. He went to game 3 against Pink Kitty Rose, but he clutched it out the end. So yeah.
For sure, for sure.
But yeah, are you looking forward to the rest of the league? Playing some more interesting mode?
Yeah, for sure. I think I have mystery and cross keys, and then I'll probably do the co-op as well. So more to come.
Taking another fall there.
Sweet,
yeah, this-
awesome, good,
like
good to hear it.
Zero
Yeah,
Rush and I were talking
co-op
about,
is
this
probably
fight
one of my
can
favorite
get
modes. Like the
pretty
co-op all
nasty if you're
dungeons, because
not
like
Yeah.
careful.
yeah, you're both working towards a single goal, and you're both doing basically the same thing, and it's fun to talk back and forth about it, have some fun discussion and routing and all that.
For sure.
All right, so we're getting close to wanting to wrap this up here. Any final thoughts before we will sign off for the night?
Oh, I just want to thank everybody for the restream, the commentators, the trackers, the restreamers, everybody who made this possible. It's a lot of work to have 64 races, and it's all voluntary.
All right,
so
takes down
I appreciate
that
everything.
stupid Helmosaur there. That
Oh yeah,
knocked
once
him
again,
down
huge
twice
shout outs
before
to all our
finally
volunteers for
giving
this
in.
league, myself
Gonna be
included
hooking
amongst a
across
bunch
here
of
to go
other
take on Aghanim
moderators,
2 and take on
free streamers,
Big Pig
commentators, trackers. We all want to make this league awesome, and I think we're doing a pretty good job so far, I would guess. Thank you to our restreamer Math Girl for backing us up here on this Link to the Past Randomizer League channel. For our tracker, forgive me if I say this wrong, Edda Ump or Edda Ump, I'm not entirely sure. Thank you for being our tracker. And I was flying solo today on commentary, so I will refuse to thank myself for but I mean I was your solo comm.
Gets one energy ball on Aghanim.
We got just a few
Misses-
seconds here.
misses
Gonna
some
let the
more on the
credits
next
roll
one.
to get
See if he
your
can get some more
fantasy
here.
stats rolling. But other than
Doesn't
that,
look like
we
it.
are
Aghanim
pretty
not
much
playing
done
nice
here
for
for the
Keg
night.
here.
So, just a few seconds. I'll sign us off.
All right, he gets another one there. 4 more.
Yeah,
hits
thank you so
on
much
this
for racing, giving us
goofball
a show
Aghanim.
today, Keg. Thank you so much, and good luck to the rest of the.
Thanks. GG's.
All right, GG's.
Looks like one more hit will do it.
All right, with that,
There we go.
we
Down
will
goes
go
Aghanim
ahead and
2.
sign off here. I have been Relkin, and our tracker Ed the Ump, and Math Girl, our restreamer. Thank you so much, and we will see you guys later.